Hello viewers, today I'll be showing you some tips and tricks on interior cleaning. Now this video won't be covering any fabric shampooing such as your seats or floor carpet or even the carpet on your door panels here. But this will be covering any dash components when you want to just remove some scrub marks or any coffee stains, get into those hard to reach areas and such. Now what I have here for soap and water, use hot water. Hot water, it's a lot better for cleaning because it does help break down any grime that's built up. For soap, you can use dish soap. There is other interior soaps out there that you can use. You can possibly even use water too, just hot water itself. It will be actually a lot harder to clean, so the soap does actually help break it down. The particular soap here is just it's made by Mr. Clean It, just a multi-purpose cleaner. It's the lime colored stuff. And you just dump a little bit into the pail of water here. Now you'll be using a toothbrush here. You can just go buy these at your local dollar store. I usually like to buy the real cheap ones because they do work really well. I've actually used, you can see this one's been used before, so it is a little dirty. Get the soft ones because it's not so harsh on your interior pieces. You can get a harder style one if it's actually built up a little more and you want a little more abrasion. But I recommend the soft ones though. And then just some type of cloth here. This cloth here is just a similar to paper towel, but it actually doesn't break up as easily. Now you can use possibly something from an old t-shirt or a rag of some sort too. For the other materials, what I have here is actually spray 9. This is actually fairly common to buy. You can buy it at your local Walmart or grocery store or anything like that. I have added it into my own spray bottle. This works good for any harder stained spots. It helps remove it. And then I'll be using just a normal vacuum cleaner, a shop vac here, just to get the dirt out of the carpet or any other areas such as switches and vents and etc. For areas around your heating and air conditioning controls, if you can remove these switches, it does actually help quite a bit here. Some of them are just pull straight out, and what you can do is actually, if they are badly stained, or you get dirt built up from operating use after from your fingers, you can soak them in a pail of water after. But actually these are fairly clean, so I won't have to actually worry about that. But what you can do here is you just simply go around, such as these switches here. You just simply take your toothbrush and just go around the edges here, because you do have the dirt that builds up, say in the little light position right there, or around the edges, and they're actually pretty hard. And you could have your interior nice and clean, but then if you get a closer looking at it, it actually doesn't look that clean. So you want to make sure you're doing a good job. Just do something like that simply. And even for your switches here, what you want to do is just go back and forth on the sides. So you make sure you can turn the switch position here, go around, just like so. Then after, when you've done that, you just simply wipe it off, like that. Get rid of any dirt. Now, it depends how dirty your vehicle is. You might have to actually go over this a couple times. Another thing, instead of a toothbrush, what you can use is actually put a toothpick inside here, just like so. I'm going to just do a demonstration with my finger. And you just put it inside, and then you can just go around all the switches like that too if you don't have access to a toothbrush or you'd rather not buy one. And you simply keep going around like this, just wipe everything up. Now for other areas where two different materials meet, you can just take the toothbrush and go in there. Now you want to continuously rinse your toothbrush out too, because the dirt will build up on it after. But make sure you don't have it too wet so the water isn't dripping everywhere onto your switches and getting in behind panels and then actually creating more of a mess for yourself. Just like that. Make sure you dry it up nicely so everything looks nice and clean. Now you can continue doing that. Now with Aftermarket Stereos, I just want to make a note. You actually have to be careful because these screens can scratch after a while, especially if you're using a toothbrush and stuff. So I would just recommend only using just a cloth like this on here, and just be really careful around it. You don't want your screen scratched up, because then obviously it doesn't look so nice after. Now for areas such as your vents here, these can be a little harder to clean. They are fairly tight. These ones actually aren't too bad, but there is ones that actually get closer, so you actually have a hard time getting a cloth or your fingers in there to clean it. So you can use a toothbrush. Now if you have one with longer bristles, that's actually great because it makes it a lot easier. I just simply go here. As you can see, I've already pre-soaked some of it here just to get rid of soften some of the dirt up. You have to be careful in the corners and stuff here, because this is actually where the spots it builds up. You want to make sure you move your director back and forth there. And then in the bottom here, you also have the same thing, so you want to use a toothbrush in there and go all the way around the outside. Like so. And make sure everything's all nice and clean. Same with your switch here. And as you can see, it's got a little grip on there, so obviously dirt from your fingers and stuff will build up on the little grips there, and it can be hard to wipe off, so that's what makes the toothbrush a perfect tool to use to actually clean around those. Now after you're done, instead of wiping it away with the cloth, what I'll use instead this time is actually the vacuum cleaner. Now this is a wet dry shop vac that I'm using, so it will take in water. It's not a big deal for it. And now what this does is now it's already wet down, so it'll actually suck the water up with the dirt and everything. Now you might have to do this a couple times depending how dirty your vents are. Now after you've done that, you can just go over with your cloth and just give it a quick wipe down here. Just like so, just to make sure you get everything. It's all nice and clean. Just like so. Now for areas such as your cup holders, now these are notorious for getting dirty. I'm sure everyone knows, everyone spills beverages inside them. And not all vehicles actually have an insert, or are they removable. So what you can do in this particular situation here is actually just drain some water in there, and you can let it soak for some time in there. Now you can take the toothbrush and somehow go around and clean the outside here, like so. It's a little harder with this toothbrush here because actually I can't get the bristles too far in on there, so I sort of have to take my time with this. Now mine isn't actually too bad, so it's not something I have to overly worry about with my car. Then what you want to do after is actually take your shop vac and vacuum that water out. Then after you've done that, just simply give it a nice wipe out here with your cloth to make sure you get all the excess water and stuff out. And there you have it. Now for other areas, such as your door panels here, some people do actually have a tendency to kick the door panels when they're getting in or out of the vehicle, so this can leave, it can leave some marks on here, and it doesn't make the interior look so nice after a while, especially if you have a lighter color like this is here. Now for here, in case the stains aren't coming out normally with your just soapy water, now this is where I use the spray 9 on here. So simply what I do here, just simply spray it on there just a little bit, and then I just take a toothbrush and actually work around back and forth here to actually clean a lot of this up. Now this may take some scrubbing, obviously. As you can see, the area up here is starting to disappear. Now this is a textured material, so that is why the toothbrush works very efficiently for this job. You just want to go in different directions too to make sure you're getting each way the grain is going in this. And then just simply when you're done brushing it after and you've seen most of it's come off, just wipe it off like so with your cloth. As you can see, that looks much cleaner now. Now for these vents, these are actually pretty tricky to clean because there's a speaker in behind there, and you don't want to actually get the speaker wet because you could wreck the speaker. And with a cloth, it doesn't really make it easily to wipe because it just goes over the surface of it and the dust actually gathers inside these individual holes here. And obviously most of you won't want to be taking your door panels off either to clean these individually, because that can be a pain every time you have to do a cleanup on your car. So for recommendation with this, I would just say simply dip your toothbrush in the soapy water. Now make sure it is somewhat dry, just try to get most of that water out of there. Now if the water's too soapy, or if you just directly spray the soap onto here, what'll happen is all the holes will actually fill up with soapy bubbles, and then that'll be even harder to clean afterwards. So you just simply want to go work your way back and forth, just go in a circular pattern. Obviously this will take some time, but if you want to clean your car right, that's basically what it's based on, is taking your time and making sure you're getting every single spot. Now for removing the water off the surface here, now you can simply just use your cloth, but what's happened with the toothbrush, if you have little excess water in there, it can gather up in the holes. So you can use the same method as I shown earlier with the cup holder or the vents, is actually use your vacuum cleaner to clean all this out here. Then just to finish up after, just want to do, just take your cloth and just wipe on the outside here just to make sure you get everything nice and clean. As you can see, I have a little spot here. Unfortunately it looks like it's paint, so I don't know if I can actually be able to remove that.